Looking at the evidence, this case was about getting Vybz Kartel in prison and leaving him there.
The liberty of the men are left unanswered. The men are in no man's land as it is. One would call it la la land.
Is it possible that Kartel could be freed soon because of his legal limbo, but Isat was going about it in a deceitful way? You know what? Let's jet into this story. Welcome to Jet. So first and foremost, before we get into what Isat tried to do to get Kartel freed, give thanks to Yahweh and Yahushua. Yes, man. Kartel's lawyer, Isat Buchanan, pulled out a sneaky trick out of his hat to circumvent the legal process in an attempt to try and free his client at the Supreme Court yesterday.
The habeas corpus application hearing seeking the release of entertainer Vybz Kartel and two co-accused is to continue later this month. The matter was adjourned in the Supreme Court this morning. The application will be heard over 2 days, May 29 and 30. Attorney Isat Buchanan filed the application on behalf of Kartel, whose given name is Adija Palmer, Sean Storm Campbell, and Andre Matsu St. John.
He filed it under habeas corpus, a term meaning in this context a person should not be left in legal limbo while being incarcerated. In other words, Kartel should be freed because his conviction was quashed.
To connect his activities with the appellants. The appellants appealed against their conviction to the Court of Appeal of Jamaica, which dismissed their appeals. The Court of Appeal granted permission to appeal to the Judicial Committee of the Privy Council on 3 grounds, which were, first, that the trial judge failed properly to inquire into allegations of juror misconduct. Secondly, that the trial judge departed from standard practice in inviting the jury to retire to consider their verdict so late in the day, putting undue pressure on them to reach a verdict. And thirdly, that the trial judge erred in admitting the telecommunications data because it had been obtained in breach of the Interception of Communications Act and the Charter. The Judicial Committee of the Privy Council has unanimously concluded that the appeals should be allowed and the appellant's convictions should be quashed on the ground of juror misconduct, and that the case should be remitted to the Court of Appeal of Jamaica to decide whether to order a retrial of the appellants for the murder of Clive Williams.
But now ask Christ him for free today.
Jet agrees with that in principle, but it was done deceitfully without the knowledge of the DPP, and the court adjourned for further arguments and submission by both parties.
Isat Buchanan, who represents Vybz Kartel, explained today's adjournment.
To be heard today. However, the judge was of the view that the Director of Public Prosecution is an interested party, as well as for the jurisprudence that proper submissions be put before the court by those parties.
The DPP is to be served with a copy of the application by 4 p.m. today. Now the men are being held at the Tower Street Adult Correctional Center. They, along with Kahira Jones, were convicted on March 13, 2014 for the murder of Clive Lizard Williams. The case was sent back to the Court of Appeal by the Privy Council for a decision on whether they should face retrial for the 2011 murder. That hearing is set for June 10.
But why no ISAT without proper submission from the DPP?
One can appreciate that the liberty of the men are left unanswered. The men are in no man's land as it is. One would call it la la land. One would be, it's a lacuna in the law where you're not convicted, you're not charged, but you're held in abeyance. I think in terms of where the law is, that the legislators would have needed to make certain amendments to account for a situation where a conviction is quashed, but the matter is not yet before the court. And so, for me, a day in prison is like 1,000 years.
Jet agrees that once a conviction is quashed, the person should be freed pending a separate hearing for retrial, as in this case. In this video, Jet explains some possibilities open to Kartel. Right, the conviction is quashed, so technically they should be free. but the prosecution could free them and then rearrest them, although it may well be after the Court of Appeal rule if there should be a retrial. Jet heard about bail, but it is not clear that one is needed if the conviction is quashed, but a free and instant rearrest is likely because of the flight risk. So, Jet is surprised that they were not instantly released unless there is some Jamaican legislative framework that would prevent this from happening. Technically, they should be freed until the Court of Appeal decides. So, there is a possibility that Kartel could be freed later this month. Could this celebration become a reality at the end of this month?
Freedom, freedom, freedom.
What's Kartel? Freedom. We tell them. We tell them. We tell them. Jamaica happy now. Jamaica happy now. When I put the last CI. We no broke, we no hungry again, we nice again, and be a class by our foot again. Big up the vibes. And where you get the new clocks, a be a clocks, a be it the come more, a be a sitting. We belly full again. Be a straight jeans and fit it again. Remember that. A white t-shirt, we did it. Did it. Jesus.
But there could be an equal possibility he could be rearrested if fresh evidence come to light pending the retrial hearing for June 10. This is getting interesting.
But now ask Christ him for free today.
When I put the last CI. We no broke, we no hungry again, we nice again, and be a class by our foot again. Big up the vibes. And where you get the new clocks, a be a clocks, a be it little more, a be a sitting. We belly full again. Be a straight jeans and fit it again. Remember that. A white t-shirt, we did it.
So, what is your view? Do you believe Kartel will be freed by the end of this month? Jet believe he may well be, but with some conditions and restrictions until after June 10 hearing. Write your comments below, man, and let's have a discussion about this. For those of you who've forgotten to subscribe, please touch the like button, smash the subscribe button, and touch up the bell. And remember to share with your friends and family. So here we are going now. We are gonna jet off,